Yo, guys, what's up? And welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 106. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. Not a big news week this week, so we're going to go through some wild leaks that came out for Deadpool 3 during the week, and maybe some other nerdy news if we have time. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And yeah, without further ado, here we go. Yo, what's up, dude? How are you?
What's going on, man? How you been?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How are you? How was the week?
Busy week. Just finished up work. Had to take some vacation time because people wanted to come over, and
Nice.
pretty much that's all I've been doing is just having people over.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. We had my girlfriend's parents were over during the week because they were traveling, and most people, if you're most places in Ireland that you travel to, you kind of have to go out through Dublin. So if you don't live in Dublin, you kind of have to travel to Dublin to then get out of the country.
Right.
So I think a lot of people now will be like, "Oh, can I stay in your house for a night and then travel to the next border or stuff like that?" So there's probably going to be a lot of that happening, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm not privy to back kind of visits though. Like
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
my sister on one week. I had my mom this week, and it was just like I was able to handle some of it, but for the most part, I'm not a person that tends to leave the house too often,
hmm
especially not on a daily basis. So like it
I
was
get you.
just it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. I feel you, dude. I feel you. Um, yeah, like I've got my girlfriend's sister staying with us tomorrow night, so that's like 2 visits in 7 days. So that's like kind of rare for us, but sure, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be fine. But yeah, look, let's just kind of dive into it. It's going to be a bit of a short one today. You've got to head off a bit early today, so we probably
Yeah.
get about 45 minutes or so. So, what I was thinking that we could do was Den of Nerds put out a great video on this topic. I was thinking we could watch the topic with everybody in the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll just kind of go off and bounce off all the news that it's on it, and then if we have a bit of time after, we'll talk a bit about Twisted Metal because we all started it this week, and I kind of want to maybe do a little bit of hype for Ahsoka as well, and then that should be us done. So
Sure thing.
yeah, I think it'll be good. So let me get this up here. This up here. Did I share the wrong thing? Yes.
We're gonna see an echo of ourselves going over and
Yeah,
over.
I did. Whoops. Where the hell am I going? Sorry, how did I lose us? Here we go. Sorry, I'm an amateur. Anyway, yeah. So as I said, Josh from the Den of Nerds put out a great video on this. We're gonna watch the video, and we can kind of pause as we're going
Marvel
through
fans,
and
oh
just see
my
how we get on. But
Sure.
yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
goodness, do we have some absolutely insane new leaks and rumors when it comes to Deadpool 3. And this stuff's so crazy, and there's just so much of it to go over that I'm making videos on the weekend. So let's get into all these new leaks and reports, try to match up how they tie in with other leaks and rumors that we've had in the past, and we'll try our best to figure out how all of these rumors could tie into what we already know about Deadpool 3. Okay, so first up, it's important to mention that most of what we're going to talk about in this video comes from a big YouTube video podcast done by the Diz Insider. And the Diz Insider is great, and they have incredible sources, but they did put this video out as a compilation of rumors. Like, if these were all things they were certain about that were coming from incredible sources, they would just report them as exclusive. So
Like
instead, they're talking about rumors based on a lot of stuff they've heard behind the scenes. And as I've been trying to say in all of my videos covering Deadpool 3, we've got to take all of this stuff with a grain of salt. Just like Multiverse of Madness, it's obvious Marvel has a whole bunch of really cool ideas and fun cameos that they'd like to have in the movie. But just like Multiverse of Madness, not everything that's being talked about at Marvel is actually going to end up in the film. And there might even be some things they shoot that then they remove. And on top of that, we got this big writers strike, actor strike going on. So who knows when that'll end, and when it does end, it's possible Marvel will make changes. Deadpool 3. But regardless, this stuff is incredibly hyped up, so we've got to talk about it. Now, before we get into the rumor list from the Diz Insider, there are a couple other stories I want to talk about. First up, Daniel Rickman reported on Thursday that Hugh Jackman had meetings with Kevin Feige before all of the strikes, and those meetings were about Wolverine having a massive role in Avengers Secret Wars. And that's absolutely dope as hell. It also tracks with a bunch of stuff that we've heard in the past, as we think
so
Kevin
hyped.
Feige
Like,
wants
this is
Downey
probably gonna
Jr.'s Iron Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and Hugh Jackman Wolverine together forming the Avengers for Avengers Secret Wars. It's very possible they're the core group that will follow around for most of the narrative. Perhaps that group is even going into the multiverse and recruiting other individuals. And it's possible that Deadpool 3 is actually going to set up a lot of that for the eventual Avengers Secret Wars film. Now, another story that just literally broke today all has to do with Wanda, the Scarlet Witch. And this is due to a huge article over at the Cosmic Circus where they're talking about the 838 Illuminati in Deadpool 3, the fact that Ian McKellen's Magneto will be in charge of the Illuminati in 838, but he'll also have Wanda by his side. And Wanda of 838 will have a father-daughter relationship with that Ian McKellen Magneto. There's a lot of other stuff in the article about Wanda. So I'm going to do a whole separate video on that, which should come out tomorrow. And in that video, we're going to detail a lot of stuff about the 838, Illuminati, and Wanda's increasing role in the multiverse, how Marvel might even explore that in X-Men 97. And it's looking more and more like the Scarlet Witch is going to be somewhat of a replacement for the Molecule Man from Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars story. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, you
wonder why
haven't been watching enough videos, but I'll explain it in the video.
Say that again.
I wonder why. Like, why would you want to replace like Molecule Man with Wanda?
I would say, I suppose they haven't like introduced Molecule Man at all, and it would kind of make sense to maybe use different Wandas instead or something. I don't know.
So I mean,
like, Scarlet Witch was a Nexus being, so I don't know.
Right, but we had Black Panther introduced in Civil War before we even had Black Panther, so there's no excuse for that. I think that's very lazy if that's the case. Like, hopefully that's not true. Like, I would love to see Molecule Man. Like, we need more people, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Video tomorrow. Okay, now let's get into it again. This is all rumor coming from the Diz Insider. And as we go over each and every one of the rumored cameos here, I will talk about what other scoopers are saying, if there are other rumors hinting at these characters showing up, and we'll try to give a percentage chance of this character actually being in the film. So first up, let's talk about Daphne Keene's X-23. I think this one is probably a lock. I think she will appear in the movie in some way, shape, or form. There are past rumors indicating that she will be in the film, that we're even going to revisit sequences from the Logan movie where she is fighting alongside the Logan Wolverine. Daphne Keene is also a lot older than she was.
Just as Josh is about to say, like, I don't know if you've seen pictures of her recently. She looks about 25 now, like, and she looks like a child in Logan. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, like, then
during the filming of Logan,
move it forward a bit more, which is kind of nice.
That's what I'd say. Yeah, they might jump to a timeline where Logan's been dead for 10 years or something like that.
Yeah, and that works out well, because then you also get X-23 in addition to Wolverine, and then you see the two kind of like back to back. But then they don't know each other. It's like similar to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, like where they just really don't know each other, or she knows him, but like he doesn't know her, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It'd be a bit of it could be a potential bit of a tearjerker moment, but maybe not at all.
It'd be cool.
And it is even possible that we will see an older Laura as X-23 in one of the many universes that I think we're going to visit in Deadpool 3. Next up, they talk about Shatterstar, and this is freaking hype for me, dude. I love the Shatterstar character from comics. He's awesome, and I felt like he was done dirty in Deadpool 2. So I think it's great that Shatterstar's back. I hope they bring that same Filipino.
I forgot Terry Crews was in that movie.
Yeah, man.
I completely forgot. I'm one of the Skarsgård brothers as well. I completely forgot that they were in the movie.
Actor that played him in Deadpool 2, and I hope he gets a lot more shine, because that character is dope. There are also rumors predating this video by the Diz Insider that talks about Shatterstar being in the movie, so I think he's probably in it, but again, it's a weird one. I'm going to give him like a 60% chance. Next up, they're talking about Wanda Maximoff, and the Diz Insiders did say, with specifically for Wanda, they have heard from incredibly good people that she will be in that film, that Elizabeth Olsen will be reprising the role of Wanda for Deadpool 3. And this tracks with a lot of other rumors. I know there was a moment when I thought that there wasn't going to be a Wanda in Deadpool 3, and that's because My Time to Shine Hello was telling me that Wanda's not in it, that the 838 is not in it. And so there are conflicting reports between people like Alex Perez, people like the Diz Insider, and My Time to Shine Hello. And in this instance, I'm really leaning towards these other schools.
It's weird because My Time to Shine is usually right about everything, and the fact that My Time to Shine said that Wanda won't be in it, but a lot of other scoopers are saying that she will be in it is a bit kind of, you know.
I mean, you never know.
Stuff. Yeah,
exactly. And hopefully like, I mean, it would be nice to see Wanda in it because that would actually give it a little bit of a kick, especially with her powers. But I'm not too sure.
838 as well.
Right.
I think she's going to be linked very heavily with 838 going forward. I think.
But that just seems like a crutch to me, man. And you know me, I really hate the whole 838 situation. We have we have a multitude of universes, and for some reason the writers are like, I don't know what Earth to use. Let's go back to 838, and it just pisses me off because of that. Like there's so much more that you could do with the worlds.
I think it'd be cool just for the moment, like very close to Multiverse of Madness. But I think if they're going back to 838 in like 5 years' time, it's kind of like get over it, like go somewhere else. But I think for maybe the next movie, like this movie, for example, is not too far in the release schedule from Multiverse of Madness. So it would kind of make sense that they would go back there and the Illuminati would have a score to settle. You know what I mean? Like that kind of makes sense to me.
But they're all dead.
Yeah, but there's more heroes out there, and apparently there's a new Illuminati being formed, and they're out to kind of kill Wanda for what she did to the existing Illuminati, and that's kind of the plot story with Magneto taking over and her being by his side.
No, dude, that sounds poorly written, man. Like you got to have a different universe. You got to have a different universe that's aware of the fact that there was an incursion that occurred between 616 and 838. Just because Wanda went into the other world and they're like, you could cause an incursion, doesn't mean that an incursion didn't already just fucking happen. It's just a minor incursion that occurred. And so like they should use a different Illuminati from that universe instead and say like, well, we don't want to deal with this kind of shit again, like happening over in our universe. You know, we want to handle this situation as soon as possible. We got to bite this shit, like, and we got to nip it in the bud, get the fuck out of here. And so like it just introduces more worlds. And I think that would be a much better, a much more fresh idea than just rehashing what we already have. And I get that that's the case in some areas where it's like, well, Multiverse of Madness just came out not too long ago. Let's just reuse, old resources. But this isn't Earth. It's a different universe as Earth. Like it's not the exact same thing. If it was the exact same thing, I would understand if like we were rehashing Earth. That's why with all the TV shows that we have, we're rehashing Earth. And it's boring, if you can tell. Like it's, we've all been bored by it, by what's been going on Earth.
Yeah, I agree. I think what you're wanting will come. It's just not as quick as you hope.
It's because the fucking writers, man. The writers are getting lazy.
Yeah, but they're gonna strike either way.
Goobers, I think Wanda's absolutely.
Go on,
that's absolutely. Sorry, that's absolutely fine if they're striking. I'm not saying.
I'm only joking.
Yeah, no. Like, I'm not saying you're like, you're in the bad, but like what I'm saying is that for the writers that aren't on strike, they're the ones that are being lazy about this.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones having to deal with this shit.
True. I would say the people who are writing all this are on strike though. Fact.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
Fact. These people have like not written good shit in years, but they're still going on strike because their residuals are bad.
Right.
And like it's a big argument for like, what did you get paid to do the job? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like this was only a conversation happening in my Discord earlier, and it's a valid point. It's like, you get paid to do a job, you're paid to write a show or write a script and put it out there, or be a writer on a TV show while it's being aired or filmed. And it's like, what are you expecting afterwards? Like, there's not very many professions in the world that are entitled to residuals for forever. You know what I mean? And I can kind of understand if it's an actor and their face is on the screen and being used all the time for reruns and stuff. I suppose I understand, the person who wrote that, and if the networks are constantly making money off the reruns, I suppose you should get a cut of it. But like, how much do you really expect to get? Like, I don't know. Obviously, they're not getting enough, but that's what they're expecting.
I would give them like 0.5% or even 1%. Like it could be anything. Like it could just be the tiniest number. And I know that you're opening, like you're just like, oh my god, that seems like a lot, but like holy shit, just fucking help. Just help them out. Well, like even then, like even if it seems like way too much, give them 0.25. Give them as little as possible as you think is well enough for that position. But you have to also understand it's like the drums. Like you can't have anything on screen unless you have a fucking story sitting out there. And if they're doing a shit job, then yes, you can pay them. You pay them accordingly. It's like, well, we had a shit show. We can't really give you what you need. But like, if it's a promising beforehand, that's also a big deal. So I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where it's catch-22. Like everybody's kind of fucked in this situation.
Yeah, big time. Like I saw a thing where they were talking about how Suits is now the most like streamed show in the world somehow. Like Suits is shit.
Yeah.
But for some reason it's like the most streamed thing in the world. I don't know why the screen sharing stopped there. That's weird.
I was just popping us up because we're still talking.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So nice filming there, you know. But basically, yeah, like I don't understand how, like for example, that's like the biggest show in the world. Don't understand how, but the people
Right.
who one of the writers claimed that in the last quarter the show has something like 12.8 billion minutes watched, and he got
Wow.
like he got $293 for the last quarter, and like
Jesus.
you know. But again, it's like, how much did he get paid to write the show in the meantime, you know, or like in the beginning, and then in the meantime, now he's obviously working on a new show, or he's writing for somebody else, or he's getting paid by another studio to do something else. Like, you know, it's not as if he's just sitting at home going, "Oh, that €293 all I've gotten in the last 3 months." It's like, you know, obviously it's not, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
But
Like,
obviously they're still starving in some way. That's why they're doing the strike. So, you
well,
know,
I'd say it's greed, bro. It's always greed. Like if you look
on
at
both
Friends,
ends,
if you look
yeah.
at if you look at Friends, for example, like the actors in Friends, apparently I read this before, they get like $20 million a year for the rest of their lives just from the value of the reruns of how much Friends is rerun around the world. They get
I mean,
20 million a year for the rest of their life.
so because they wrote such a fantastic storyline, like holy shit, shouldn't they get paid as well?
I don't know. I wouldn't know how much the writers of Friends get in residuals. I'll try and maybe do a little bit of research on that, but I suppose just using Suits as the example that I read, it's like, you know, the most streamed show ever, and your man got, like, one of the guys got $293. Like, I can kind of see the argument. There's twos and fro's back and forth,
Yeah.
like every argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always a different change of pace.
Exactly. Back to the video.
Absolutely going to be in this movie, and for a lot of reasons we'll talk about in tomorrow's video. I think it's important that they establish a lot of stuff about the Scarlet Witch in Deadpool 3. I'm giving her a 90% chance of being in the film. Now, next up, they talk about another Wolverine, and they talk about Taron Egerton. Now, this is really interesting because there were a lot of rumors and fan casting of Taron Egerton to be the new 616 Wolverine. And in fact, it got so big online that Hugh Jackman was even asked about it. In an interview with Empire Magazine back in January, Hugh Jackman said, Taron is one of the most talented actors out there, and you can see his range is incredible, but he's just got to cool his heels a little bit. So this was kind of tricky because there's obviously been a lot of smoke.
Jackman with the fighting words.
Like, cool his heels,
I'm
what
not
is
done
that?
just yet. That's Jackman saying, like, you know, you might want to step in and take over when I'm done, but I'm not done yet. Like, that's kind of what he's saying. And that obviously means Deadpool 3 is coming, Secret Wars is coming, potentially, you know, rumors going around is that the at the end of Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Hugh Jackman are going to be like, yeah, fuck this. This world's about to implode. See you later. Let's go into the 616 because that's where all the money is, or something like that. They'll make a joke out of it, and the two of them will end up in the 616. And then I think they're going to go around recruiting the X-Men. I think that's the idea.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of cool. Like, if they go and find the 616 Wolverine and it's not Hugh Jackman, and then Hugh Jackman actually gets to physically hand the torch off to the 616 version or something, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and also, like, when you're talking about if they're planning on destroying the 838 in the process through this incursion, then they should immediately move on to a different universe. Like, they don't just immediately go back to 616. They just get shoved off into a different world.
Yeah,
I think that would be even crazier.
I'd kind of like if both, like, you know, the way the incursions, they say, what is it they say? Either one world will survive or they both get destroyed.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool if if like the entire, and I know I said this to you before, maybe you weren't a fan of it at the time, maybe you've changed your mind now, but it seems like maybe everything gets destroyed and only like a select few, like in the comics, only a select few, like Reed Richards builds a big ship or something, and like, you know, the best characters of the MCU go into a new universe, and that's the new Prime, and it kind of restarts, and it's a kind of a soft reboot. I kind of think that's where it's going, bro. I really do. Really do.
That does sound like an interesting take, but I think it would be even better if it was a situation where they were battling to regain their world.
Yeah.
They basically it just reborn. It becomes reborn in the sense like they're able to reverse time, bring back 616, and then just say that that's the better Earth. It's kind of a contest of champions in a sense.
What would you think if they did like a whole saga within Battleworld? I think that's kind of out there as a theory. So like they'll do like a string of like 6 movies, and that entire time you're on Battleworld. So there'll be a Spider-Man movie on Battleworld, there'll be like an Avengers movie, Deadpool movie, blah blah blah, you know, so on. And then by the end of that entire saga, we end up with like, you know, the Eternity War, Avengers Eternity War, and then when that ends, you know, a new universe has started, and you've got Fantastic Four, you've got X-Men, you've got and it's like basically the Marvel Comics universe, but on the big screen. I think that'd be fucking fire, bro.
I mean, if we were to think about it that way, then I would say that when it comes to that kind of situation where like you're building it within movies, then you have to kind of build movies around it as well. Because if you're just waiting for the next movie for the next part of Battle World, it gets a little boring. You have to have something in between.
Everything would be Battle World. That's the thing. Like, it's like a Battle World saga where everything is just on Battle World. So if there's a Disney Plus show like Loki season 4 or something like that, it's on Battle World. If there's like Hawkeye season 3, it's on Battle World. Like, you know, the whole fucking MCU is just Battle World while they resolve that ongoing story. Kind of like the Infinity Saga. Everything led towards Thanos and the stones, blah blah blah. But I mean, you know, I'd love that again, just to have that connective tissue between all the projects and actually have an end goal to head towards, or an end game, should I say? You know, and like that would just be so much fun, because I just think where the MCU is fucking up right now is just that everything seems so disconnected, and you know, all these like separate projects seem like they're going off in their own tangents, and it's not connecting anymore. And I think that's where the problem is.
Right. I think the idea sounds interesting, but I don't think Battleworld is that large to really do something like that. I think in that case, you would just have it as a TV series and just have like 6-8 episodes and just run it off. But then it would just end up terrible. Like
it's gonna be a planet, and it's gonna be the only thing in existence in the MCU. So I think like it'll be the core focus of every single MCU project for probably 5 years.
That would just be boring, in my opinion.
Not if it's amazing, though.
You can't tell me that. Like, we can't sit here and go, oh, it could be bad. But what if it's not? Like, it's what the fuck are you telling me, dude?
I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like Toby back, Andrew back, Chris fucking Evans back, or DJ back, everything back. And then it's like Infinity War for like projects and projects.
For the Generation Alpha, Infinity War for Generation Alpha. Like, no, fuck them. I want some new shit. Like,
as Andre said in the chat as well, and then Galactus comes in and just like fucks up.
I'd be down with that. Like, Galactus should come by.
Just farts on it and it just disappears.
He's gonna fart on his dinner because he's supposed to eat it.
Fuck yeah, dude! I love it. I love it. Yeah, well, hopefully they don't secret invasion the whole thing, but
right, yeah.
we move on.
Around Taron being in the movie, I think it's possible they do what they did with Krasinski and have him pop up in the film and then just be destroyed, which frankly would be kind of unfortunate. However, I also think it's possible that he is the 616 Wolverine, that Taron Egerton is our new Wolverine, and at the end of Deadpool 3, you might even see Hugh Jackman Wolverine and Deadpool jump into the 616 universe, because I kind of think it would work having Hugh Jackman literally pass the baton to a different Wolverine. And we do know there's a big project on the horizon, a movie coming out from Marvel called The Mutants. And if a bunch of X-Men are jumping into the 616, I just don't see how those X-Men don't play a role in the Mutants movie. And I've talked about this before, but comics has done this. I mean, there have been times in the Marvel Comics X-Men run when you have older X-Men literally interacting with younger X-Men that were like pulled out of the timeline. And so who knows what's going on with Taron Egerton? Is he actually in the movie? Are they setting him up to be the new Wolverine? I'm not exactly sure. Oh, and just for clarity's sake, My Time to Shine Hello did come out and debunk this one, saying that Taron Egerton is not Wolverine in the movie. But again, My Time to Shine Hello said there was no 838 Illuminati. My Time to Shine Hello said no Wanda in Deadpool 3. And it seems like both of those things are absolutely in the film. So I'm just confused. Conflicting reports. What's going on? Next up, Loki. Loki's going to be in Deadpool 3. And that really shouldn't surprise anybody. I give this probably a 90% chance of happening.
Alex, the jet skis. That's actually
fucking jet skis,
in the Loki 2 trailer. I fucking love it. It's like almost gets his jet ski. Let's go, bro. That season's out pretty soon. I think by the time, what have we got? We've got Ahsoka for like 5 weeks or something like that.
Got Twisted Metal for as long as we want.
Twisted Metal, yeah, exactly, yeah. So, but if we think about like releases, we've got probably 5 podcasts of Ahsoka, and then I think this show probably starts very close after that. So we're going to be going up until like November. We're going to have like mid-November. We're going to have like a new episode of something to talk about every week, which is going to be great for the podcast. Yay, let's go.
Alex Perez did kind of hint that this was real, that you're going to see Loki, but he also clarified that this won't be the Loki that we've come to know via the Loki series. So this is likely a Loki variant, or maybe even Loki when he first arrives at the TVA from Loki season 1. That could be really clever and sort of time up the events of Deadpool 3 with what was going on with Loki season 1. Either way, I expect to see Loki in this film, and hopefully it's more than just some fun cameo. I'd love there to be some substance to it, explaining more about the Loki character and his sort of cosmic destiny when it comes to He Who Remains and the TVA and whatnot. Next up, we've got Miss Minutes, who I absolutely believe is in the movie, and I recently did a video about how I believe Miss Minutes is actually the real villain of Deadpool 3. She's going to be helping the 838.
I don't know if I saw this, but there actually was the Miss Minutes Twitter sent a tweet to like Ryan Reynolds welcoming him to like the MCU or some shit. Like Miss Minutes tweeted Ryan Reynolds. Like that actually happened in real life. So like I'm like, I think absolutely Miss Minutes is going to be in it, especially if like Owen Wilson's going to be in the movie as well. So that kind of
like, what rating did Miss Minutes get for her screen time? Like if there was a poll, like is Miss Minutes like in the top 3 or something? Like, do people love Miss Minutes?
I thought it was funny, but like I never really thought about it after the show ended. You know,
I mean, but obviously they're going to put her up front and center as a villain. Like that's going to be weird. Like. In my head, like in your, like I'm pretty sure in both of our heads, it's like that's odd, but okay. But it's at the same time, I'm like, what kind of villain is that? Like she's just kind of invisible. Like she can't be touched, but at the same time she can. So like,
yeah, it'd be just the right amount of weird for Deadpool, though, if you think about it. Like it's kind of perfect for Deadpool.
Yeah, I could see that. Like her kind of. I want her to go fucking ape shit. I want her to go Looney Tunes crazy.
Yeah,
like I want some of that.
I wonder now after like the events of the end of season 1 of Loki, I wonder, does it mean that like Miss Minutes is just off the rails now because she's not being kind of she's not taking orders from He Who Remains anymore? So maybe she's just like gone off the fucking radar, like, you know, at the AI have taken over.
Yeah, because you see her kind of like her eyes twitching and whatnot. She's looking a little crazier than usual, and because she doesn't have anybody on her leash, then she's kind of going off the rails. So. Yeah. Like I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying, like, where did this come from? Like, it's just one of those moments of like, all right, okay.
yeah. I think it's kind of perfectly fucked up for Wade to kind of interact with this thing and just be like, is that like a computer program? What the fuck is going on in this world or whatever? You know, I think it's perfect for Wade. Oh, I love it.
Illuminati take vengeance on the 616. And going back to one of the first reports about Deadpool 3, which came from Jeff Snyder, he reported that Tara Strong as Miss Minutes and Owen Wilson as Agent Mobius would be in Deadpool 3, and that the plot of the movie was essentially going to boil down to Deadpool and Wolverine versus the TVA. Now, next up, one of my favorite new pieces of rumor. This is Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four of the early 2000s. Now, believe it or not, there are old rumors tying Julian McMahon as...
I gotta pause for a second. Just the way that Josh pronounced his name actually breaks my heart. It's
Julian McMahon? What the fuck?
It's an Irish name. It's McMahon.
It's McMahon, isn't it?
Yeah, McMahon.
Yeah, it's McMahon. Yeah, it's like Vince McMahon from WWE.
It's McMahon, not McMahon.
I still say McMahon. You can't stop me on that one.
No, no, no. You're
that's as
all
close as I'm
pronouncing it
getting.
wrong, damn
That's
Americans.
as close
Go
as
on.
I'm getting, sir. But by the way,
You are closer. I'll tell you, you are closer.
fine, I'll say McMahon.
McMahon, yeah.
McMahon. Anyways, I just wanted to say though, like looking at the costumes just from his like YouTube video, like
Yeah.
looking at the costumes for the OG like Fantastic Four movie, I gotta say, like for just that, it's not bad. I don't mind
thought
it
he
at
was
all.
great.
It looks good.
I thought he was great, and I loved him. I liked him as an actor, and I really liked the story of that version of Doom. You know, it made sense. You know what I mean? He starts to kind of disfigure. He's kind of into his looks. He's a rich guy, like, you know. He's kind of, you know, and when his like face starts getting fucked up and stuff, of course he's going to put a mask on. He's like,
Right.
He's sensitive about his appearance and stuff. I thought it was really well done.
And it's the same thing with the thing. It's like it's kind of it's pretty comic accurate if you think about it. Like they look like the fucking comic characters.
Yeah,
and that's.
I think those Fox movies get more hate than they deserve. I thought they were pretty good.
I agree. The only thing I would say is the Galactus smoke monster thing. That's the only thing that really.
Silver Surfer was epic though as well.
Silver Surfer looked fucking badass.
Yeah,
and the fact that Doom stole his board for a moment.
Yeah,
that's fucking sick.
Man, I rewatched the two of those movies because they went up on Disney Plus over here for us, and I rewatched the two of them probably about 6 months ago, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed it. I hadn't seen them in years. Some of the music was like so good back then as well. Like in the first one, they had like some 41 and shit. Like, and I was like, oh, bro, like bringing me right back to my teens. You know, it was great. Anyway, back to the video. We're nearly done.
As Doctor Doom 2, Deadpool 3. Although I think around that time there were a lot of rumors of the Fox Fantastic Four movie being in that film as well. This is where some of the rumors of even Chris Evans coming into this Deadpool 3 movie come from. But now the more current rumors are talking about how the 838 Illuminati is going to be built up of people that were related to the Illuminati members that were killed in the Multiverse of Madness. And apparently Jessica Alba as Sue Storm may well be the Illuminati member that is replacing Reed Richards in Deadpool 3. Perhaps Doctor Doom is going to be a part of that as well, or perhaps this is going to be from a section of the movie where Deadpool and Wolverine are time traveling, going back to moments from the early 2000s Fantastic Four films, and maybe that's when we'll see the McMahon friggin' Doctor Doom. On a side note, I also think that's what's going to happen with Charles Xavier. So I think Patrick Stewart is going to be in Deadpool 3, but in the 838 continuity, he was killed by Wanda. However, it's possible within 838, we might go back in time and visit Fox X-Men movies around the time of X2 and X3. And maybe there we will see Sir Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. So it's likely the same thing's going to happen with Doctor Doom, which could be cool. But man, I just love the Doctor Doom character so much, and I secretly want him to have a massive role in the multiverse and a big role in Secret Wars. So if they do this Doctor Doom character, I hope they give him a little extra juice. I hope they make him really menacing and perhaps even hint that he's aware of what's going on with the time travel and the multiverse. Next up, we've got Ben Affleck's Daredevil. This one seems to be a lock. Again, like a 90% chance of this happening. It's in a ton of the other rumors, and it's been rumored that he as Daredevil and Jennifer Garner as Elektra are both going to be on the Illuminati or in some way connected to 838. Next up,
I don't like the two of them sitting on the Illuminati. That doesn't really make sense to me because, like, I know Daredevil's like pretty smart, but like the Illuminati's meant to be like the fucking smartest people on the planet, right? Like world leaders and stuff like that, like the leaders of each kind of team or group or society or whatever.
And that's partially why I'm a bit privy about the whole 838 situation where they're kind of reforming it. It's like, how? Unless they had contingencies where like they somehow cloned themselves in like a different vat or something, and it shot them out like on the option that they are just killed automatically by Strange being too powerful or coming back, or Wanda coming back. Like maybe they had contingency plans, and then I'd be like, okay, at least they thought it out and they were like, okay, there's a way for them to kind of bring them back. And it's, to me, that's not a cop out, because it's like, okay, they're the world's smartest people.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they have something like that? Like,
yeah, I don't know if you watched the show Foundation, but you kind of basically spoke about like one of the main plots in that show. Like, there's a king who like looks after the Republic, basically, kind of like Palpatine in Star Wars, but he has clones of himself, so he's always the ruler of the planet throughout the centuries, and there's 3 versions of himself at all times. There's a young version, there's the king who's like kind of middle-aged man, and then there's an older version, and I think they call themselves like it's something to do like with like either the seasons or something like that. I can't really remember. I haven't watched an episode in a while, but they do a thing where it's like, you know, they call them like dawn and dusk and or something like that. But basically, the old dude is the one who did the job before, so he's like the wise one who has all the knowledge. And then when he dies off, then the current king becomes the old one, and then the new, like, you know, they just constantly go in a loop. So the same person technically is the king for hundreds of years, like, you know.
Yeah,
It's a really cool idea. Could you imagine if they did
work.
that in the Illuminati? It's like, you know, you have the Illuminati running for whatever, and then either if they age out or if they die in battle, you just wake up another.
Just a new one comes around. Yeah, and that would work because then it would kind of show that the eighth rate isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Like they're willing to do what it takes to keep themselves around because they believe themselves to be like a superpower in the sense. And that the world can't live without them. Yeah. And that would seem like a very like almost villainistic kind of way, because you can make heroes look like villains.
Yeah, it just sounds like a dictatorship, right?
Yeah, in the sense, because like they believe they're the best and the brightest, so they should be the ones. It's like Homelander.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, let's finish this video.
All right.
So we got Cassandra Nova. I've done a video on Cassandra Nova, and I've also talked about her in the video about Miss Minutes being the actual villain. And yeah, it just really seems like Emma Corrin is going to be a version of Cassandra Nova that's actually sad that her brother was killed by Scarlet Witch and wants to seek vengeance on the 616. Next up, we're going to see Mystique, and I don't think it's going to be Jennifer Lawrence. You're going to get the version of the character from the old Fox X-Men movies played by Rebecca Romijn. And I think this casting choice probably ties back into going to the X2, X3.
Sorry?
Is she... Is that
how you say about the original Mystique, Rebecca Romijn?
How do you really say her name?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. She has a J in it, so my... Oh, it is fucking Romijn. God damn. I've been saying Romagen this whole time.
Don't worry, sir. We all have gaps.
The time period via time travel. We're apparently going to see Jean Grey, Storm, and even Brian Cox as William Stryker. And I, again, think that's all connected to that X2, X3 time period, which we'll be visiting in the movie. Next up, apparently, we're going to get Channing Tatum as Gambit, and that's freaking awesome. I think this will probably be connected to the A38 universe. I believe they actually shot stuff with Channing Tatum already. I believe My Time to Shine Hello already talked about that. Taylor Swift as Dazzler. What an incredible rumor this is.
I'd honestly be down with that. I think that would be a really cool look. Like she's already won the hearts of millions. You know,
I don't know.
Fucking put her out there. She's the Dazzler. Get it? Like she dazzles.
I know, bro. But like, let's talk about Jack Black and let's talk about Lizzo, and you know what I mean. Like, it's like
I know, but
does she break immersion here like too much? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh god, like it might work. It might be fun. It might be cool, but I think if you're gonna put someone like her in the MCU, just let her be herself. You know, like the way they put Elon Musk in Iron Man 2, and it was kind of just like, you know, he was just himself, just kind of floating around for a little bit. Like,
I forgot he showed up for a second on there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like if she's got a decent acting kind of skill, like then why not? Like if they're just gonna kind of throw that character in there and not use her very much, then like
I'd say
why the hell not? Like
if she's in the movie, it would be kind of similar to like Elon in Iron Man 2. It'll be for fucking 5 minutes and that's it.
Yeah, they did that to Brad Pitt.
The shortest cameo in history. I think it was like 8 frames or something.
Yeah.
Something wild. And he did it for free too.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. Like, and were we able to hear him speak? I couldn't remember.
No, I don't think so. I think he kind of makes it like a ooh noise or a, oh fuck, like, you know, he's about to say a word like as in oh shit, but like he just dies. He just dies straight away. So good, dude.
this would be absolutely perfect for the character of Dazzler, but a lot of people have come forward to say this is not real. It's probably a cool idea that they had at Marvel Studios, and perhaps it could happen if scheduling lined up perfectly. But Taylor Swift's on like a crazy Canadian tour right now, like selling out more tickets than actually people live in Canada. She's wildly successful, insanely popular. She doesn't need the MCU Disney check, so she'd only do it if it felt right and it was fun and it was for the fans. And even if it did happen, I'm assuming it would be a one-off kind of cameo like you get with John Krasinski. And then finally, they talk about Magneto, Ian McKellen Magneto, and this is obvious. Not only has this been probably the longest standing rumor of a prominent X-Men character that's going to be in Deadpool 3, but for a long time, we've thought that Ian McKellen as Magneto is going to be the villain of the movie. And again, there's a lot of evidence here to suggest that this is going to be the Magneto that's now in charge of the Illuminati, trying to keep the 838 universe together after the devastating effects of the Multiverse of Madness film. So to me, all of these things seem really awesome. A lot of them actually probably will end up in the movie. There are a few that probably won't. I'm most excited for the possibility of Taron Egerton Wolverine and the possibility of him being 616 Wolverine, although that is feeling like a slim chance now. I'm super hyped up that we might get more Shatterstar, and I hope he's done justice. And the Doctor Doom thing is my absolute favorite part of this. I really hope it's true, and I hope they give some real juice to that character for Secret Wars. I mean, if they're going to make Hugh Jackman Wolverine this massive part of Secret Wars and have him on the side of the heroes, it would be freaking awesome if the Victor Von Doom from the early 2000s showed up in a big way as one of the villains during Secret Wars. Either way, that's a lot of rumors. I gotta know what you think about all this, so let me know in the comment section below. Smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you stay tuned tomorrow where I'll drop the big video about Wanda and 838.
Love you, Josh.
Yep.
Guys, go follow
what channel
Josh.
was that?
The Den of
Nerds.
Go follow him.
Give him a big old shout out, because thank you so much for that video.
Yeah, I've been a subscriber to Josh for probably 2.5 years now. Like, I love him. Watch him every day. Legend. Yeah, I just thought, we're on a short one today, so I thought, why not? We'll just kind of watch a video, kind of give our thoughts on it. What do you take out of all that? Like, that's a lot of news from the week, a lot of stuff to break down, and that's kind of why I wanted to watch the video, because I wouldn't have remembered it all. I wouldn't have, I would have missed half of it. I think Josh just puts it across so brilliantly. I think it was probably just good just to watch his video and see what you think. Like, I think even if we get half of that stuff in that video, it's going to be a wild movie.
I think some of it is plausible. As far as I know, like, I think it's very much rehash stuff, and that's the point of. I get it. That's the point of Secret Wars. You're rehashing content, but being able to use different worlds and create different stories, but also say that these worlds were originally part of the multiverse, and that they're also part of like the Fox universe or the Spider-Verse or the Tobyverse or the Andrew Garfield kind of like Spider-Man verse, and like you can kind of do whatever you want with that. And if they're just kind of like if they've kind of backed themselves in a corner and they don't understand where they should go, like, I don't understand how, because like you can literally just like get a fucking big ass whiteboard or a dartboard, throw like random ass numbers, get a random number generator, put them on papers, get some darts, fucking chuck one, and you land on, I don't know, 107. You land on 538. You land on stuff like that, and you're like, okay, well, this is going to be that universe. This is going to be that universe. This is going to be that universe. This is how we do Battle World. This is how we pull people into Battle World, because we pull a portion of the terrain from that world into the section that we'll call Battle World. And I think that would be much more structurally sound. But I also understand that shit like that can probably cost a lot of resources.
Yeah.
So like it just really depends, like how much effort are they actually putting into this? Do they have the money? Do they have the budget? And obviously I think the answer is yes, but do they have like the creativity for it anymore? And
yeah, I think they do, because I think that this is what Feige is actually really focusing on. I think I don't think he's been involved at all in any of the TV shows, and I think it's very blatantly obvious that he isn't. And I think all the kind of big directors seem to be stepping away from Marvel for all the Disney Plus shit as well. I think, the Russos saw the writing on the wall. They saw where it was going and they were like, we don't really want to be a part of this. Like, so, I think all the best minds are either working on other stuff or if they've moved on, and I think if Feige was to go to the Russos with an amazing script for a movie, and it's like, we're going to bring Chris Evans back, blah, 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 or whatever, it's like, I think the Russos might be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like, because I know they did express interest in doing Secret Wars, but I think they knew where phase 4 and 5 were going to go. And they were kind of like, maybe we don't want to be a part of it. And I think I would have said at the end of Endgame, I would have said anything is possible. There's no limit to the budget. There's no limit to possibilities. There's no limit to resources. They were on top of the world, whereas now after phase 4 and 5, it's kind of like, like Bob Iger's coming out and saying like, we're cutting costs, we're going to, reduce projects down, the MCU is not going to be as big anymore because they're not making any money, so we need to take money away from them, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's probably going to have a really negative effect on the MCU. So, maybe Feige might have this amazing plan in his head and he might be writing stuff down and he might be getting some good writers to write scripts and all, but he might go to Disney looking for money and they might say, sorry, bro, you haven't fucking brought home a win for us in 2 years. So
Right.
we're not giving you all this money. You're not getting Endgame money anymore. So it's kind of scary to think it. Like, they need a couple of big wins. Hopefully they get them. I don't know. I think Tom Holland's next movie will be good. I think it'll be big, but I think Sony got fucking 70% of that. So
Right.
it's like, what's next? Like, is Thunderbolts going to be amazing? I don't know. Probably not. Is Captain America 4 going to be amazing? I don't think it's going to be as good as the other Captain America movies. Is it going to be amazing? Maybe, hopefully. Is it going to bring in $1 billion? Probably not.
Probably not. But I think what the issue is in terms of all these live action shows and whatnot is the fact that they're treating them as if they're movies. They're really trying to put this out as like, oh, this is movie style in the form of a TV show. But that's not what we're really looking for. Like, honestly, I could take shit like props and I could take like really bad, design. But if the storyline is pretty decent, it's like it seems fine to me. So like, why not elongate it? Why not give us that kind of like CW feel where it's not perfect, but shit, there's storyline, there's things to go off on. You can create this entire world. You can just call it Marvel. You could just call it Marvel, and then just straight up go through an entire, like, you basically make seasons that are sections of comics that you've seen in the past and just do short stories about those. You could do the origin story of Spider-Man retold by Disney writers, like by Disney characters, or like not Disney characters, but you know what I mean? Like Disney writers directed differently. It's still live action, so it's kind of got a different feel to it, but it's like a reimagining of the comics that we knew and grew up with. You and I aren't like old enough to say that we grew up like with origin stories, but at the very least, like, it'd be nice to grow up with an origin story that was like visually interesting.
Yeah, I think so. And like, like, if you're going to do a whole kind of like espionage show like Secret Invasion and you want to do it where it's like, story based and stuff, they don't really need the explosions and big, like, battles and all that sort of stuff. Like, you can scrap all that, put more money into better writing. And then if you do a story that, it's kind of like a spy thriller sort of thing, like Jason Bourne style stuff, like, that'd be cool in the MCU. It's a nice change of pace. But they kind of tried to do that with a shit script and just threw in some explosions and wasted all their money. Like, how that show cost $211 million to make, I'll never know. Like, it sounds like a fucking, like, it sounds like a budgeting fraud or something, like,
It really does, because when you think about it, like, the moment we saw those explosions, you and I were both like, yeah, that was shit. That was garbage. Like, what the hell? And then even at the very end of the show, when you see that Emilia Clarke and I forgot the other guy's name, the guy who plays Gravik, like, they're supposed to show off the powers that they've been given. And it's just this shitty CG, like, look at my fucking Drax muscle. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, like, what? You could have shown off anything cooler than that. And you decided to go with Drax. Like, what?
Drax. I know. It's just, again, it's cheap, or it's not as much CGI needed or whatever.
Right.
Shout out to Andre in the chat here. He's putting in all the
all the different prices that are coming.
Yeah. So like Ant-Man 3 did 476 million worldwide, I presume. Yeah, that was a bad movie, so I'm actually kind of surprised it even did that. Thor was even worse than Ant-Man 3, in my opinion, but again, it's Chris Hemsworth, so it's going to bring in money, even if it was just him standing on the screen for an hour and a half. People around the world would just pay to see that. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, haven't rewatched it yet. I'm not really pushed to rewatch it, but again, 8:45 shocks me.
It wasn't bad, dude. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got this from, but like it wasn't terrible. It's just some of the characters didn't need to be how they were.
Yeah,
especially for the way that they were introduced.
I gotta rewatch it. Black Panther 2 made a lot of fucking money, 853. That's a lot.
It was in remembrance, man. Like they
true,
there's no way.
True.
A
it
Billy,
was shit though.
Is that what you call it?
A Billy, yeah, Billy for billion.
That sounds that's a cute word, man. That's
I made a Billy all the time. A Billy, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I love it. I say that Millie and Billy. I say that shit all the time.
Millie and Billy.
Yeah. I'm so like I didn't like Black Panther 2 at all. I thought it was bad. I thought it was a pretty bad movie, but I can understand why a lot of people went to see it. You know?
Right.
They want to see Chad send off and stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, obviously, yes, if you add all that up, the MCU has made money, but
of course,
yeah.
Like even with Ant-Man 3, their budget was lower than fucking Secret Invasion.
Yeah, but not by much.
It was 200, but still 200 million.
Yeah,
and you at like 211 million. Like, dude, make something worthwhile then. At that point, like, fuck, man. Like, even at the very least, Ant-Man 3 had decent amounts of like, effects and whatnot going around. It was pretty at certain times. It wasn't the best. There were some moments where it was too dark because they didn't want to show off like the artifacting on the CG. But like, it was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah.
And I liked Kang in it.
Kang was the best part of the movie, yeah, for sure. Yep. This is a wild stat. I've read it before, but it's like the MCU to date has made 29 billion for nearly 30 billion for Disney. Like, well, sorry, that's not for the whole run. Like, obviously, when did Disney take over the MCU?
Ooh,
what year was that?
I feel like
was it early on?
Early. Yeah.
Was it before Star Wars?
No. I don't think so.
Because like I remember I only rewatched like Iron Man 1 recently, and like you see the Paramount shit coming up at the start, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot. Like Marvel Studios wasn't a thing even at the start. Like they were like Paramount made some of the movies.
So Marvel was 2009. Actually, it was before Star Wars. Star Wars was 2012.
Okay, so since 2009, so pretty much the entire MCU, like the first year. So Iron Man 1 and Hulk were like the only two movies that weren't made with Disney owning Marvel.
Right. But but you can see in some cases how it kind of, like, even with those two, you actually, never mind. I'm going to retract what I was going to say, because you can't really see, you really can't see like what could have been, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what could have been if Marvel Studios had continued doing their own thing.
Yeah, no, like I think it's pretty safe to say that Disney have been kind of at the steering wheel for the whole thing, pretty much.
I really wish at times that it was the same thing as like PlayStation, where for like the Sony PlayStation, for people that are working on a PlayStation AAA first what was it called? First party title. Then it's like Sony just goes, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
We'll give you money. Do what you got to do. Take care of it. We know you're good for it. Like, I really wish Disney would just do that and just have acquired Marvel and been like, we know what you got to do. Do what you got to do. And then if things start kind of going to shit, then Disney step in and go like, all right, you guys need to step the fuck out. Yeah. And then give Disney a shot. Like, but it really feels like as soon as Disney stepped in, it did start getting gradually like more akin to like consideration for the kids. There wasn't too much that we could have that was adult oriented besides like maybe a couple deaths.
True. Yeah, very much so. Big time. Do you need to go, bro?
Pretty much. I was asking. I asked for like another 15 minutes, so I wanted to try to cover like close to an hour at least.
Yeah. No, well, look, if you gotta go, you gotta go. It's fine. I don't want to hold you up. Like it's a short news week. I'll just say before we go, there was a trailer released this morning for the Ahsoka trailer. It was like a little 45-second clip, and it in the clip they have Anakin Skywalker, like Hayden Christensen, talking to Ahsoka, and it basically confirms flashbacks to the Clone Wars. So I am absolutely over the moon hyped for this fucking show. Like I was already. I'm putting all my Star Wars eggs in one basket, and that basket is Ahsoka. I think like this is like for me, this is like my last hope with Star Wars for a while, like especially on Disney Plus. I think if this show is a failure, I'm really fucking scared for the future of Star Wars, because this show, it's written and directed by Dave. It's Dave's like favorite character, Ahsoka. You're bringing back Hayden. You're finally going to have like Anakin and Ahsoka on screen together. You could potentially have an appearance from Luke again. I wouldn't be surprised. And then you might potentially even have. I've been kind of picturing this scene in my head, and I'm just praying that it comes true. But imagine a scene where like Ahsoka and Luke are talking to each other, and the Force Ghost of Anakin pops in, and then you've got the three of them on screen together. Luke and his dad on screen together.
How's it going?
Yeah. I think it would just be.
And then Yoda pops in, and he's like, "The party, is it going?" and then Obi-Wan comes in, and it's like,
I don't know what would
coming. And then Qui-Gon jumps in, and then it's like, all right, this is getting kind of ridiculous.
It's like a big Zoom call. Everyone just jumping in. Yeah, like if they did a Force Ghost of Obi-Wan after Episode 6, they'd have to use Alec Guinness's likeness.
I would love Alec Guinness's likeness.
That would be kind of sick, like, but it'd be weird at the same time, like, because I know obviously I love Alec Guinness, and like I love that version of Obi-Wan, but when I think of Obi-Wan now, I think of Ewan McGregor, like,
which is fine because like he did a fantastic job.
Oh my god, Andre. there's this running joke of Luke and Ahsoka getting together. It's going on like Star Wars theories community and like Den of Nerds as well. Like you always see everyone talk about it in the comments. And they call it Luke Ahsoka. Jesus Christ. Dude, imagine Luke clapping those alien cheeks, and then Anakin comes in. That's my boy.
They accidentally call on the Force Ghosts coming in.
Yeah. Clap those cheeks, good boy. Jesus. Anyway, look, it's a short one this week, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I was looking into, just on a side note, I was looking into getting the podcast up on the podcast apps like Spotify and Apple and stuff. I know Hoffman was in charge of it before he left, and they're gone. It's gone off everywhere now. I didn't even realize, but I'm probably gonna build it back up myself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably just gonna like rip all the audio off YouTube, and then I'll like upload a podcast episode a day until we get up to where we are. So yeah, look, keep a look at it. I'll post the link anyway, or I'll let you know when it's up on all the channels. So it should be up on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'll just start re-releasing them. It might be kind of cool to go back and listen to some of them, especially with what we know now, like listening to reactions of like WandaVision and stuff like that, and us talking about Falcon of the Winter Soldier as it was live and stuff. Like I think it might be kind of fun to go back and listen to some of them.
Maybe you can put them into seasons so that like, we could do, we didn't like this season, this season where Alex jumped in,
Yeah, like I was thinking of just like starting it on episode 100 or something, but I don't know. We'll see. I kind of want to go back further, so I'll look. I don't know how you can lay it out. Like it'd be cool if you could lay it out. We could do like kind of the origin story of the podcast, and then when you stepped in, that could be a new chapter, and then when Kyle Crunk came in, that was another chapter, and then when Hoff leaves is another chapter, and so on. So yeah, like it could be interesting. But yeah, look, we'll keep an ear out on the socials and all that stuff. And as I say, if you're new to the channel, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment below on the video if you're watching it, and make sure you go follow Den of Nerds as well. And I'm going to post a link to that full video we were watching in the comments below, so you can go and check it out, give it a like, all that sort of stuff. All right, guys, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, everyone.